Thank you for joining us on Christian Fitness. Today we're going to have a lot of fun,
Oh, yeah.
and we're going to work out as we do on Christian Fitness. But this is going to be a really interesting show. We hope it's very informative. You learn some things, and you get active.
Move more. That's
the biggest
what
thing.
the title of this
Move
show.
more.
Move more. Of course, we're doing a whole series on it, but we're encouraging you to get some kind of hobby just to have more fun. It encourages you. It helps you to move more. It gives you, a camaraderie with others. And so anyway, get some kind of hobby. And today we're going to use dumbbells. So go grab dumbbells if you have them. We're going to do a lower body show, but in order to increase your strength, we want to do some kind of resistance, and dumbbells are a great way to get resistance to increase your lower body strength, which is good for a hobby, which is good for everyday life. I mean, we're always, hey, we're walking in, doing things all the time, utilizing our lower body.
But first,
Always first is our Bible study. We want to get into the Word
Jesus
with you.
first.
Yes,
Jesus
Jesus
first
first.
on everything.
Absolutely, that's good. That should be our new T-shirt. Jesus first, then we work
Then
out.
work out.
All right, we're on the Sermon on the Mount. So turn with us to Matthew chapter 5. And if you saw our last show, or go back and look at our last show, right before this was verses 1 through 3. Now we're going to pick it up at verses 4 through 7. And we're going to be in the Passion Translation because it is a Bible study all in itself. So here we go, Matthew 5, verse 4.
What delight comes to you when you wait upon the Lord? For you will find what you long for. What blessing comes to you when gentleness lives in you? For you will inherit the earth. How enriched are you when you crave righteousness? For you will be satisfied. How blessed you are when you demonstrate tender mercy. For tender mercy will be demonstrated to you. Oh, wow. That's just, I almost wanted to jump in the middle of reading what this was. And when you read this, think of it as Jesus is literally speaking to you about what you've received from him. And that will, when you read it that way, when you read looking at, and it's like that reading anytime when you read in the Bible, expect to learn something from the Lord because he is teaching you. But this he's teaching his disciples.
Well, we always talk about, we always talk about the Bible being the instruction manual for life. And it truly is. And here are such simple instructions in this. He's telling you basically how to live your life. To gentleness, you'll be enriched if you crave righteousness, demonstrate mercy. All these things that enrich your life and help you to live a more full life. Love the Passion Translation notes. So this is going to be our Bible study today. We're going to start right in the beginning in that verse 4. What delight comes to you when you wait upon the Lord, for you will find what you long for. And the note on that is, as translated from the Aramaic word for comfort, which can mean to see the face of what or who you long for. The Greek is, they shall be comforted. I love that. Oh my gosh. To see the face of what or who you long for.
When I was reading this, what really jumped out at me, and this is how we apply the Word of God, is when you read the Word like this, and you apply the fact that when you long for, because all of us long for something, and we long for the presence of God. When you wait, when you spend time with the Lord, you're going to receive from him. And this is how you receive from him. You have an expectation, but you're waiting on him. And that's what, when you wait on him, he's going to show up. When you're worshiping him, he's going to show up. And I'm not talking about in a fleshly way. I'm talking about in the spiritual way of how God shows up. You will experience for him wisdom, peace, comfort. And in this case, it's comfort. When you wait, when you go to the Lord, experience comfort from him because he's going to give that to you.
I love that. Well, we always talk about on all our shows, on Love Living Life, on Christian Fitness, and all of them, we always talk about what are you looking for? Look for good things. Look for the signs of God. And here you go. If you're uncomfortable and you need comfort, you want to look for comfort. You don't want to look for more uncomfortable things. You don't want to be in more uncomfortable situations. You're already experiencing that. Right. So if you want comfort, you got to look for that. And that's what this says. You have to see the face of the thing that you're looking for or who you're looking for. You've got to envision that. And I just love that. So you find what you're looking for, then you've got to look for the right thing. Let's jump to verse 5. What blessing comes to you when gentleness lives in you? And of course, or meekness. Jesus is saying that when you claim nothing is yours, everything will be given to you. The Aramaic word, I'm going to try to pronounce it, makike, implies being both gentle and flexible. So what blessing comes to you when gentleness lives?
Well, if you think about the gentleness of God, which is really the power of God, which Jesus is all powerful and he can do anything. But in this case, it's you're still in an expectation to receive the peace of God, the comfort of God. That everything that he is, when he's teaching this, he's talking about who he is living in you, that you're receiving who he is, and he's teaching you that so you experience that in your soul. You experience who God is, and then you can go about living your life.
I love that it says, when gentleness lives in you, it's a blessing when gentleness lives in you.
It is.
Yeah, and it talks about flexibility. You've got to be flexible. You can't be so
absolutely.
hard-lined like the Pharisees
That's
were
good.
that said, wait, the law is you can't heal on the Sabbath. He's like, are you kidding me? You're going to put a silly law like that over someone being healed and changing their life forever. So you can't be so rigid. You've got to be flexible. And that's where that gentleness comes from. Being gentle is being flexible. It's not being so hard-lined that you become a Pharisee, but it's understanding gentleness.
Well, think of it this way. Jesus is teaching those who have not understood who he is yet. And he is demonstrating by the power of Christ, he's demonstrating who he is by the power of God, who he is to them. And yet he could have gotten impatient, gone, why haven't you gotten this yet? I've performed all these miracles. I've done all these things. Why haven't you gotten that? But yet he knows that this is another portion of who he is. Yes, he demonstrates power. Yes, he heals people. Yes, he sets people free. But at the same time, he also offers gentleness and his meekness, which is his kindness towards you, his patience towards you, so that you can receive. So he's demonstrating who he is by not just going, come on, get this. You can get this.
The rest of verse 5, for you will inherit the earth. Then on to verse 6, how enriched you are when you crave righteousness or goodness or justice, for you will be satisfied. So again, it's the instruction manual for life. So Lori's talking about Jesus is demonstrating these things, saying, I am these things. Well, he's also saying this is how you need to act, or you should act. You'll inherit these things. You'll be blessed. You'll be enriched. The blessings will come. Verse 4 says, what delight will come.
Right.
So, these are, the Sermon on the Mount, the Beatitudes of our instruction manual for life. So we'll be enriched when we crave goodness, when we crave justice, when we crave righteousness. You'll be satisfied when you crave those things. We mentioned it earlier. What are you looking for? When you look for these things, for righteousness, for goodness, for justice, you will be satisfied. On to verse 7. How blessed you are when you demonstrate tender mercy, or merciful to forgive. The Hebraic and Aramaic concept of mercy is that it comes from an innermost being. The root word for mercy is the root word for womb. And you can cross-reference that 2 Samuel, Psalms, Proverbs, and James. So plenty of places there to cross-reference that. And then verse 7 finishes with, for tender mercy will be demonstrated to you. But you have to read that first part. When you demonstrate mercy, then mercy will be demonstrated to you. So it's the first part. We have to have an action, and then that action is reflected on us. So demonstrate tender mercy.
What I think is really beautiful about that is that, first off, to extend mercy, you've had to receive the mercy of God first. God pours himself who he is in you. And mercy is forgiveness. So to be able to extend forgiveness, you have to receive forgiveness of Christ. And that's what he's trying to teach people, is that you've received of me. Now you go and do as I do. So it's receiving mercy means you've been forgiven. Now you forgive. And that is the most important thing you can do. Is forgiveness is everything. Forgiveness and receiving mercy from Christ is everything that you've become. That's where it came from. You've repented. You've been forgiven of your sins. God's been merciful to you. And then you extend that same thing. So that means you have to walk in love. You have to walk in mercy towards others. Forgiveness. And forgiveness is every minute. Jesus even talks about that. Forgiveness is not 7 times a day, it's 7 times 7.
7 times 70, 490
70,
times
sorry.
a day.
I said 7.
So spend your whole day just saying, I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you.
Exactly. But it's an act of mercifulness towards other people. So it's not just that you've just received it. You have to give that for other people so that people can experience who Jesus is in you, just like he is with them right
Each
there.
one of these, it's like I said, it's his instruction to the crowds as they're sitting saying, teach us more, teach us more. And he's saying, look, you've got to do these things to receive this. So if you want goodness, you've got to look for it. If you want mercy, you've got to extend it. So, I mean, it sounds so simple. Why do we make it so hard in life? I don't know. It should be, this
That's
simple.
where you have to get out of your head and stay in your heart, because God resides in your heart.
Yes.
So it's stay in your
All
heart.
right, well, I hope you enjoyed that study. Stay with us each week as we expound on this. We're going to keep going through these one after one. But there's so much there, it's hard to get through more than 2 or 3 at a time. So it might take us a couple of years to get through it. All right, this is our Move More. So we encourage you, get some kind of a step tracker. Your phone probably has it already on it. Just download an app for that. You can wear Fitbits, you can wear a watch, you can do whatever you can, but we would love for you to track your steps somehow, just as a gauge. Because if I don't ever track them, I'll never know, am I doing better, am I doing less? It's like getting on the scale. If you never get on the scale, you don't know, oh, am I losing weight, am I gaining weight, am I getting healthier? You have to have some kind of gauge. So we encourage you to get some kind of tracker just to keep track. You may say, you know what, I'm going to take up golf as a hobby. I'm going to be so much more active. If you walk instead of riding in a cart, you'd be amazed. You say, wow, I only did 2,000 steps a day before golfing. The days that I golf, you may get 7,000, 8,000 steps. You go, oh my gosh, I get 4 times as many steps when I go golfing one day. Maybe I should golf more often.
I think Rob's giving something away, because that means we're gonna actually, that's gonna be one of the next things we do in the Move More.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about golfing. So we aren't gonna just keep talking about tennis forever, just so you know.
Today is tennis. I think we're gonna go golf next, and then who knows? We may do badminton, shuffleboard. We don't know what hobby we're gonna cover next, but today's still about tennis. But here we go. There is what's called a MET. They assign a number to different levels of activity. Number 1, of course, is your baseline of sitting still. And look at even just working around the house, vacuuming the carpet, you get 3 times as much activity as you do sitting still.
Well, look at gardening.
Gardening's a great,
I mean, gardening, go out and garden all day long, work in your yard. People do yard work, and then the next day go, oh my gosh, I'm so sore. It's because of what you've been doing. It's all that constant moving. And none of that is fast moving.
Right, that's just household chores. Then if you add a hobby to it, look at how much more the hobby. The numbers are much higher just for a hobby. Tennis is a 7 times more active than just sitting still, almost twice as active as washing and waxing your car. So wash and wax your car, then go play tennis, and you burn up time. You're going to get a lot of numbers. But there you go. You can see the highest, running a 7-minute mile, is 14 times. You'll burn 14 times as many calories, be 14 times more as active. So anyway, you see all these different cool hobbies that just help you be more active. And they're fun. Most of them are a lot of fun.
And we're not saying you need to do these if that's not what you enjoy doing, but find a hobby that creates some kind of physical activity in you, because it is what keeps you moving and gives you that longevity in life.
And get others to join you. I mean, do a pickleball group at church or something like that, so that you can get more people involved, and that helps motivate you. Then you have somebody calling you saying, hey, are you meeting me tonight?
Or a walking club.
Walking buddies, there you go.
Yeah, do a walk and pray club. Do something that keeps you moving.
All right, today we are going to do a lower body exercise, but I do want you to get some dumbbells or some kind of resistance. If you have exercise bands, go grab those. Resistance just helps you build more muscle. It helps you get stronger instead of just using your body weight. But today we're going to do what's called eccentric exercises. So let me explain that. First of all, there is concentric, and then there's eccentric. Concentric is normal. That's when the contraction occurs and the muscle shortens. That's like doing a regular bicep curl. Eccentric is a contraction that occurs when the muscle lengthens, and that would be the extension phase of the bicep curl. So most exercises have both. So on a bicep curl, that is my contraction or concentric, and then lowering it is the eccentric. So that's when we're lengthening it, and that's what we're going to do today with our legs. But eccentrics are really, really good for you. It's a slow lengthening of the muscle contraction. There's evidence that this type of training helps build muscle, improves athletic performance, and reduces risk of injury. It's also used for several forms of muscle, tendon, and other soft tissue rehabilitation. An example of an eccentric exercise is slowly lowering yourself down to sit into a chair. So every day, multiple times per day, you're doing eccentric exercises. Of course, you're doing concentric as well. So eccentric extends the muscle, lengthens the muscle as I go to sit in a chair. When I get up, I'm shortening the muscle, which is the concentric. So
Most people sit down a little bit slower than they might get up.
right. And that's
Get
what we
up,
want
you
to
get
that's
up
what we want to
quickly.
do today is do these really slowly, these eccentric exercises really slowly. But first, of course, we want to warm up. So at home, just march in place. We're going to be working the lower body. So I want you to get your body heated up, your muscles ready for this quick little workout. So you can just march in place at home if you want. If you have a treadmill, jump on your treadmill for a few minutes. If you have a rebounder, jump on your rebounder, which Lori loves these rebounders.
I'm not jumping on it, but
Yeah.
at least then I
Watch that,
was. but
jump on it, then march on it. So anyway,
The
just
key is
warmed up.
get your body warm your body up. Start feeling like you've got a little bit of heat. By the way, when you start feeling warm or you go, oh my gosh, I'm getting hot, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about heating the body up, heating the temperature of the body. One, that does burn weight or burns calories. But the biggest thing is it's important to warm up. So if you're going, oh my gosh, I'm hot, there you go.
Body's heating up.
There's the benefit. That's what we want you to do.
Yeah, you can do jumping jacks. That'll really warm up the body.
I don't know if I
They're
want
hard.
to
Yeah,
do
you can't
jumping
spread your
jacks
feet
on
really
these
wide on
things,
these
but
rebounders. But if you're at home, you can do jumping jacks in your living room. You can just come up halfway. Anything to get your body moving, get yourself warmed up for our leg workout. All right, you ready, honey? You warm
Yep.
enough?
I'm
All right,
ready.
grab your dumbbells at home or your exercise bands or a gallon jug of milk or whatever. Just anything
well,
to
it had to
create
be 2
resistance.
gallons of milk.
And we're going to start with just a simple squat, or what we talked about a second ago over by that screen was sitting down in a chair. So the eccentric, we want to do these really slowly. So we want you to spend about 3 to 5 seconds to do each exercise. So let's say a normal squat, I would just squat down and get up in like 1 to 2 seconds. That's mostly concentric. I'm doing a little eccentric, but then most of it's the concentric, shortening the muscle. Today, we want to really take our time and do these slowly. Although we do have to warn them.
Yeah, you're going to feel sore in another day or so. If you don't, that just shows you that you have some goals to attain. You want to feel like you've exercised. So there's we're not saying injury, we're saying feeling a little tightness in the muscle or, oh my goodness, I feel like I worked out.
just a
That's
little
what we
sore.
want you to feel.
Right. It'll be sore because
Right.
we're not used to doing eccentric muscles, that lengthening for extended period of times like we're going to do today. So you may be a little sore. But anyway, so the first one is just to sit on your couch. If you have some dumbbells, I like to hold them just up by my shoulders. You can hold them this way. You can hold them this way.
You can hold
I mean,
it this
whatever, yeah, it
way,
doesn't really matter,
whatever's
however you
most
wanna
comfortable.
just get some kind of resistance. And we're going to go down and sit on the couch in about a 3 to 5 count. So we go slowly. Be like 1,001, 1,002, 3, 4. And then as soon as you touch down, you come back up. So we go down really slowly.
Reminds me of one of our couch shows, and we never covered
Touch the couch.
definition of the concentric and eccentric. This is easier.
But you go really slowly. That's the key to today. Nice and slow.
So are you actually sitting down?
I'm just touching. You can sit down if you want to, but just go nice and slowly. And then as soon as you feel it touch, hop back up. Now, if you're actually, training, trying to really improve, let's say your hobby, let's say you're a competitive tennis player, you can use more weight.
Yep.
And you can explode when you come up. You come up fast. So you would come up quickly. That helps with that explosive power for whatever hobby or sports you have. If
So
you're just trying to get healthier, then just come back up slowly.
there's a benefit. There's such a benefit to this, but I think the other part too is just if you experience any kind of knee pain or any kind of pain, that means maybe you might not want to go all the way down, sitting down the couch, just maybe move slowly. And once you start experiencing any kind of pain, stop and then come back up. So we aren't asking you to stretch your, strain your body.
Right.
So that if you actually have knee pain in the front of your knees, we're asking you to recognize where is it, stop, bring yourself back up. You will get stronger, but the key is don't do this if it's painful.
And the reason we came over to the couch is I really like the couch to practice your squats.
Yeah,
We could have done it over there, and just, stood in line. and gone down and done squats this way.
Right.
But most people don't do a squat correctly. What they do is they push their knees too far forward. They start to lean. Really, ideally, to learn to do a squat is to sit down. So that's why we're doing that today. I want you to concentrate on coming back. That way you keep your back up nice and straight. Your knees don't go too far forward because you're thinking about, oh, I'm going to put all my weight back here on the couch and sit down.
Oh, I actually want to sit down.
Which is what you want to think of when you're doing a squat. You want to come back almost like you're going to sit down. My back's nice and straight, and then I'm going to come back up. That's the proper squat form. That's why we came to the couch, to help you with your posture, with your form. That's one of the things you'll see all the time. People won't do a squat correctly, and you can really injure yourself.
Or they're doing this.
Right, they lean forward. Anyway,
actually,
so
that hurts.
think of sitting down, and we come up. So nice and slow, a 3 to 5 count as we sit on the couch. And think about it, this is one you can do every day. Every time you go to sit down for the next week, let's say I just walk in from work and I go, oh, I'm going to go sit down. Think about, hey, I'm going to do an eccentric sit down. And go really, people might look at you weird, but anyway, go sit down really slowly.
So Rob, if they experience pain in their knees at all during this, because that's where they're going to experience
You can try
it.
some different things. If you
Right.
have knee pain, first of all, if it's a sharp knife stab, you really need to
Stop.
go get it looked at.
Yeah.
But you can go wider. You can widen
Right.
your stance. So now I'm way past my shoulder width, and that's fine. You can point your toes out a little bit. You can point your toes in a little bit. There's all kinds of different things you can do just to see, okay, where is the pain coming from? If I point my toes out, I don't have as much pain. So see where that sharp pain comes from?
And if the pain still remains, then just don't do
Don't do
this.
this
Skip
exercise,
this.
right.
Skip this one.
Right, but there's nothing wrong with going, okay, does this hurt? Does this hurt? Does this hurt? Is there any way I could do this without hurting?
I was trying to figure out how we do this without getting in each other's way.
All right, let's go do the rest of them over there. So that was just a squat. We just wanted to have fun on the couch with you. This one is going to be a single leg. Oh, so again, we need our dumbbells. We're going to do a single leg squat, or what some people would call a skater, because you think about, an ice skater, they push off and they're on one leg. So we want you to just, on one leg, I want you to just dip slowly. You can put your toe down if you want. If you can do it without your toe down, that's great, but go down on one leg slowly and then come back up. And we'll switch legs. You go down slowly, 3 to 5 count, and then we come back up. We'll switch legs.
Same thing with this. If there's pain and it's really not good pain, then stop doing it. Don't do it.
Right,
It
again,
means stretch more.
try to keep your back up nice and straight. Try not to lean forward and let your knee go out again, just like a squat. You want to dip back.
Can't they use this time, if you're experiencing pain, just to stretch?
Absolutely. Yeah, you don't need dumbbells. If you're experiencing pain, we'll do our next one, which is a reverse lunge. So on a reverse lunge, you step back and you dip the back leg. So again, we're going to do this nice and slow at a 3 to 5 count. And we pop back up. We'll do the other side. I have a dumbbell back there trying to trip me. So you dip at a 3 to 5 second count, nice and slowly. And then we'll pop up. So as Lori said, if you're experiencing knee pain on that, you may just go down this far and you can just hold that. Just stretch that and then switch. Just stretch,
And it could be just that they need a longer warm-up time.
possibly.
So that was why we said it's important to warm up, but you might need a longer warm-up time. And you could do this as a eccentric static. Just stay in this position and
An
just
isometric, right?
Yeah, that's what
Static,
I meant.
If you hold it, it's called an isometric.
Sorry.
And you can do that. No, that's fine. But we're still, it's 3 to 5 seconds on your eccentric, which is slowly lowering into the reverse lunge. And you'll see we talk about elongating the muscles. I mean, look what that's doing to my thigh, how it's elongating the thigh, especially the back leg. Both legs are bent. So we're really elongating the muscles, and we're doing it so slowly, you should feel it start to burn.
Oh yeah.
So if you're doing this reverse lunge, you should feel both legs start to burn as you go down in your 3 to 5 seconds. And that's why I said you may be sore in a day or two, because most people aren't used to doing this so slowly that your muscles are going to go, wait a minute, what are you trying to do to me? That they're going to need a few days to recover.
Climb stairs, you'll feel it.
All right, let's work on our calves. For the calves, I want you to just do a calf raise. And then when you go down is when you slow down. Okay, so come up on your toes, and we're gonna lower our heels on a 3 to 5 count. So this is really difficult because you're only balanced on the ball of your feet. If you need to hold on to your partner for balance, or if
I'm
you have a
still
chair
up on
to
my
hold on to.
toes.
Oh, go down to the 3 to 5 count. So really slowly on a 3 to 5 count. Then you come back up and go down slowly on
Whoa.
a 3 to 5
You're
count.
pulling on me.
Sorry.
Don't
Slowly
pull on me.
on a 3 to 5 count. And again, you don't need the dumbbells for this. Your body weight's probably enough. I like the dumbbells just to build some extra strength.
Yeah. And honestly, I think it's easier to do this on your own with side and not hold on to somebody because you can pull them down.
I do want to show you something really quickly and apologize for turning my back on you. But if you have a step in your house or a little stool or something, this is a great one if you want to go below. In other words, as I do this, as I come down slowly, I would go down past.
Right.
Instead of being on a flat floor, that really elongates. And we're talking about eccentric. So you can see how much more that's going to elongate my calf.
You
which
could
is
do that
our
on
whole
a
purpose.
front porch. You could do that
Right.
anywhere.
Right, so you would come up, and then you would go down 3 to 5 seconds, and go down past parallel to really elongate.
If you do that, if you find a place that you can do that, have something to hold on to until you're really used to doing it because you don't want to lose your balance. And that's important to keep your balance during that because, I mean, even just standing here, you can wobble around and you have to adjust your ankle strength for that. So I just did it fast. Sorry.
But that's a really good one because we're talking about the eccentric and actually elongating the muscle. So what better way than going below parallel on a step or something like that? So
Well,
that's
you
a really
see
good
people
one.
that will go and do a step. They'll actually take a step or a staircase and they'll do this. Well, that's what we're wanting you to do is do this, but then lower yourself down slowly. So it's the opposite of going up. You're actually going down.
Yeah,
So-
going upstairs is concentric because you're shortening the muscle as you step up. Going downstairs is actually eccentric
Right.
because you're extending and lengthening the muscle as you step down on that step.
That's a good example in the graphics where it talks about going upstairs.
Right.
Sorry, I'm doing a different exercise. Going upstairs, and it was a level 5, and then going downstairs was a level 3. So it shows the difference of how your body benefits going up versus going down.
And the good thing about this, there's less cardio doing eccentric than concentric exercises. But as I said, your muscles will really heat up, especially this reverse lunge. I really like that one. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed our eccentric workout today. And we always pray 3 John 1:2 over you. And that actually is a prayer for you. And it's, beloved, I pray that in all respects you may prosper and be in good health, just as your soul prospers. Thank you so much for joining us. God bless.